I'm the ghost of Christmas future. Don't use AI art. Magic avatars. They're all the rage right now. You've probably seen your favorite creators or celebrities posting their AI creations on Twitter or Instagram. And they look cool. They look fun. You know, some of them are samey. A lot of them are astronauts. But, you know, can't fault them for wanting to try it. It does, after all, look pretty cool. But like all good things on the internet, it's horrendously unethical. And you're gonna wanna stick around until the end to find out why and how you can ethically source cool art that looks like the AI art that you've seen. So let's talk about the app. How does it work? Why is it dangerous? Essentially how it works is you upload 10 to 20 photos to the Lensa AI app, you pay the company $3.99, and then it spits out a set of AI generated profile pictures. Some look great, some don't. You pick your favorites and then you post them on Twitter and you move on with your day. Overall, the surface level of this process seems pretty harmless, like picking up steak from the grocery store, but when you get into how the meat is made, it gets a little messy. The app cleverly markets itself by separating itself from the AI stolen art conversation. If you weren't already aware, all AI art is stolen art. If you want to know exactly what I'm talking about and what people mean when they say that AI art is stolen art, we'll touch on that more in a bit. So the way that the app has marketed itself is that it's for you. It's not like DALL-E or the other AI art programs that you've seen where you can create whatever you want. You're creating something for yourself. It doesn't feel like art theft because you're uploading your own pictures for the app to use. It's not text to image, it's image to image. And I know what you may be thinking. That's how it's unethical, right? They're hanging on to those pictures that people upload, right? And to that I say, hold your horses, okay? Stop getting ahead of yourself. So who's making the video? Just so the app boasts a quick, friendly, personal experience and pretty much advertises itself as a service for you. It's creating several profile picture options for you to use, free of copyright, and it looks like digital art. And so far that's worked, and now the app is just riding the wave of it becoming a trend. It's something that all of your favorite influencers are doing, so you feel like you have to do it too. It's the same reason that all of us smoke a carton of cigarettes every day. Every single one of us, at every age. Peer pressure. You don't want to be the only one without one, and since everyone else is doing it, here's 4 smackers, kid. Go make yourself an AIU. Don't spend it all in one place, except you will, because that's how transactions work. So where does the bad stuff come in, right? How's the meat made? So remember earlier when you thought that I was going to say that the app held on to the selfies that people upload to feed into the dataset that produces the AI images? You were wrong. And that's very embarrassing for you. But no, really, the company that made the app came out and said that they don't do this. They delete the source images that you upload as soon as the app has processed them to create the magic avatars. Which makes sense, because if they didn't, it would really, really clog up the pipes? I don't know how computers work. So the app itself kind of gets to wipe its hands clean and go, we're not killing the cows. We're just chopping up the meat and selling the hamburger patties. They get to absolve themselves of the ethical dilemma behind the murder of the animal, just like the butcher and the grocer and the customer do, or the people that sell grills and spatulas and spices. This is making me hungrier than it should. Because people along the chain get to say, hey, I'm not killing the cow, I'm just making the grill, and whatever the customer does with the grill is the customer's business. I'm not vegetarian, by the way. I've just decided to dig myself very deep into this one analogy. Essentially, what I'm saying is that the company doesn't do anything themselves that's unethical outside of implementing an unethically sourced tool to make their product work, which is, to me, still unethical, or at the very least, ignorant and lazy and stupid and dumb. The Lensa AI app and a lot of other apps that use AI tools use what's called a stable diffusion model. Before everyone leaves this video, because I just said the word stable diffusion model, please let me beg you not to, because this is where things get interesting. So stable diffusion is essentially the thing that generates images. It can either be text to image or image to image. So if you type Danny Phantom Among Us, it can make exactly that, or like an approximation. However, stable diffusion is advertised as generating novel images, which is technically true, in the same sense that those "this is what your child will look like" apps create novel images. It's just morphing images together. It's not actually creating anything from scratch. Stable diffusion has to draw from a source. It has to draw from something. It doesn't have the ability to create. You know, you don't put text in, it just knows what that is and then paints you a picture. What it's doing is using a data set. This data set. I once again beg you not to click off this video. But for real, this dataset is one of the most useful and malicious things on the internet, potentially ever. What Lion 5B is an openly accessible dataset of 5.85 billion images paired with alt text, scraped from all across the internet for the last 11 years. To help you visualize what I mean, if you search French cat, which is the example they give you on the website, you can find every image of a French cat with the associated alt text French cat, or as close as the dataset can get. The problem with this, which you may have picked up on when I said 5.85 billion images, is that some of those, most of those, are content not submitted for this type of use. The artists or photographers or creators of this content did not consent to being a part of this dataset, nor were they asked. And this is where the art theft comes in. There are countless artists giving examples of how they found their art being used to generate AI images. And there's a whole website called Have I Been Trained, where you can just see how many images are in this dataset, and you can find and see if your pictures are in this dataset. Now, I understand, to a degree, that all websites have a terms of service. I also understand that nobody reads this terms of service, and they all have fine print in there that allow for things like this to happen. That also sucks. And unfortunately, as artists, it's something that we just kind of have to deal with because of the fact that we upload content onto the internet. If we want to put our art out into the world in this age of the internet, we risk losing the digital copyright to our art. However, that's bullshit, and it doesn't make it ethical, and it doesn't make any of this art. The magic avatars that you've created of yourself, or that you've seen other people create of themselves, are not art. They are just a morphing of stolen art and your selfies, mushed into a novel image that includes the art styles of actual artists, but made worse because art developed by AI still doesn't always look good. So remember earlier when I said that the Lion 5B dataset was one of the most malicious things on the internet? I wasn't just talking about the stolen art. I wasn't not talking about the stolen art, but I wasn't just talking about the stolen art. This dataset, this careless scrape of publicly available images online, can include links to images that are not safe for work, or not safe for life, and also includes some images that contain private data. There was an AI artist back in September who found private medical before and after photos of her taken by her doctor back in 2013, which were only authorized for private medical use, uploaded onto the Lion 5B dataset for anyone to see, and for AI programs like Lensa or any other apps that use the Stable Diffusion model to use as reference photos for these novel images. Much like Lensa, and much like the developers of Stable Diffusion, Lion 5B also has a content warning on their website stating that the dataset is uncurated, that they do have filters for not safe for work or for watermarked content that works most of the time, but you can't always be sure. And they also claim that the dataset is supposed to be simply indexes to the internet, lists of URLs to the original images together with the alt texts found linked to those images. So since they're links, and not the images themselves, they claim to not be violating any copyright, and they claim no responsibility for the programs that use their dataset to actually generate images using these links. Now, ain't that just a thing? Ain't it just crazy how nobody's responsible here? No one in this situation is responsible for an index of 5.85 billion links being implemented into a model that can generate new images using those links, which were then used in AI art websites and apps in order to create personalized content using those models that use those links. Nobody's responsible. Not the creators of the index, not the creators of the model, and not the creators of the apps. Wild. That's wow, that's crazy. So who is responsible? Is it you? No, it's them. It's all of them. It's all of them are responsible. Okay, so let's back up for a sec. What is so bad about Lensa AI specifically? Why am I making a video about this app? Is it just because it's the current AI art trend? Yes. AI generated art should not be a trend. And it especially sucks to see it from creators who I have seen in the past be very respectful towards artists in their communities and artists in general. Super fucking weird to see people who claim to support artists posting their magic avatars. So the problem with apps like Lensa AI is that it makes AI art this simple and friendly user experience. It's taking something profoundly unethical, stowing away the ethics, and showing what it can do for you. They're shredding receipts for slaughterhouses and then showing you a McDonald's ad to make you hungry for the meat. And now again, I've made myself hungry, which both hurts and helps my point. Because the shit works! The best way to make unethical things popular is to make them palatable, and the Lensa AI app does this. This is how things like data collection information and a lack of privacy online become commonplace. It's how social media companies get away with manipulating our day-to-day online experience. It's how advertisers know how to best target exactly what we're doing and what we need at any point of any time of any day. Even though we may acknowledge these things as creepy or weird or unethical or just wrong, we see them as necessary evils that we have to live with, which isn't true. We can create a much more ethical space online, especially now, and especially for artists. I said way early on that I was going to show you how to ethically source art that looks a lot like AI art, and I'm going to do that right now. Commission real artists, dummy. The programs that create AI art are trained by images of actual digital artists. Go on Twitter and Instagram or YouTube and find artists that have commissions open. Check hashtags and check tweets. Find an artist whose style you like and then pay an actual person to create something specifically for you. Yes, it will take longer, and yes, it will be more expensive, but yes, I promise you will be able to find someone who can create the Danny Phantom Among Us mashup art of your dreams. That is what you deserve, and you deserve for that to be made with love. All right, let me know what you think of the Lensa app and AI art in general in the comments down below. I know it's a dicey topic, but I am painfully curious, so be sure to keep the discussion going down there. Also, let me know if you'd like to see me do more techie deep dives like this in the future. I did one a few years ago about Amazon Go, so if that sounds interesting to you at all, be sure to go check that out. And until next time, like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you have not done so already, be sure to hit that bell so you're notified every single time I upload a new video. And I will see you all next time. Goodbye.